Yo, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the show. If you're new here, my name is Mitchell. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about happiness must come from you first. So, I do these YouTube lives every Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time, Saturdays at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And if you guys find this video content of value, you guys could show your appreciation by donating any amount that you feel is equal to the value of this video. Details will be in the description. And I would appreciate it if you hit that like button right there, okay, or share it to your friends, whoever that needs this advice. But anyways, happiness must come from you first. And of course, I'm going to be starting out with a recap, and then I will have 4 slides. So the recap is going to be on why you might feel inferior, and the 4 slides I'm going to be talking about is number 1, no one's coming to save you. Sad truth, but it's the truth. No one is coming to save you. Number 2, become obsessed with the process of success. Number 3, you're there to share each other's completeness, right? And number 4, share who you are, not who you think you should. Okay? And I think that's a very important slide because I feel like most people don't really get to share who they are. They share who they think they should be. And that's why I saved that for the last. What's up, Sarah? Hello, hello. Okay. Now, so with the recap, why you might feel inferior. And the slide is on moving towards yourself. And most recently, I started listening to Julian himself, and he gave a lot of good advice. And by moving towards yourself, that's the beginning process of healing. And usually, what you want to think about is what is the strongest course of action that I can take to become more self aware, becoming a better version of yourself. And it's when you start moving towards yourself, not away from. Okay, I feel like a lot of people start running away from things versus moving towards it. And a big part of that is because they feel like they don't want to relive that type of feeling. It's a very uncomfortable place. Number 2, if they were to revisit that, they don't know when they're gonna be out of that situation again. But by by facing fear, by looking at fear and approaching it, that is how you're able to start the process of healing. Okay, so an example that he gave was, think about it like this: when you're in an argument and you're triggered from this argument, what do most people try to do, or what do most people do? Most people, they start yelling, they start screaming. And it's because they're trying to get rid of something. They're getting rid of things. So think of it like this: when you squeeze an orange, right, what do you get? You get orange juice. But what happens when life squeezes you? You get all these emotions, and it's when it starts pressuring you. And that's the moment, actually, when you start getting that pressure, is that's the best time to actually build that resilience, build that emotional resilience, having that emotional self-control, so that when times do come up, you're not going to be easily bothered, you're not going to be as stifled or perturbed. So, but more than likely, most people, when they are in an argument, they start yelling, they start screaming, and they're trying to get rid of something. But letting go of the resistance and move towards how you feel, that is how you know that you're beginning the process of healing, is by moving towards it. And it starts with self-awareness, being aware of what you want to let go. And that's the major key, being aware of what you want to let go. Most people don't even know where to begin. They don't even know what they want to let go. And the fact that they have to face the fear means that they have to relive that type of fear again. They don't want to do that. So what do they normally opt to? They either opt to, well, I got money, so I'm just going to start buying things to make me happy. I'm going to start going to parties. I'm going to start meeting other people. And it's very, very surface level type of stuff. Um, or they just gonna sleep around. And I guess if you're in down in the slumps, yeah, that's gonna be helpful, sure. you get rid of some of the emotions that you built up. And I guess that's important. But after a while, things become very stagnant for you. And so when it becomes stagnant, what do? And by doing those shallow things, whether it's drugs, going out to parties, and just doing very surface level stuff, things that are not meaningful, where do you go on from there? How do you progress from that? And so the next level of progression, if you will, would be by learning self-help, learning things about yourself. So you're moving towards yourself, and which is great. It's a great direction. You actually take, it's better than doing nothing, right? Because you could be sitting there and moping all day, but you're not. You're doing self-help now. You went from partying to doing all this stuff to self-help. But also, after a while, learning all these self-help, it's great, but if it doesn't go to the cause, which is you, that root cause, if you don't face that cause, nothing's going to change. And what I actually really enjoyed about what he talked about was he wants you to experience how you felt as a kid, not the right answer. So, when you were a kid, you don't know about self-help. So you just kind of felt it as you were as a kid. What's up, Bree? So when you start feeling things as a kid, you didn't know anything about self-help. What was it? How did I feel? Revisit that again. And don't give me the right answer. Give me the answer that how you felt as a kid. And so by number 1, being aware of what you want to let go, and number 2, feeling those emotions, bringing that up as you felt it as a kid, because those past traumas is what's going to draw you back into why you've been holding on to so many things in the past. And as you get to that, you're feeling it. So remember, you got to feel it to heal it. And as you're feeling it, you bring it up to the surface. And that's when you start letting things go. And so I guess the major question is, when do you know when you let things go? When do you know? And it's usually when you no longer think about it anymore. You don't let it bring back up and keep you in that past. So when you no longer think about it, you know you just let go. And but it's very important to be aware of what you want to let go first. So like I said, if you're already here and you're watching this, it means that you're already becoming you're moving towards something, but you still have to do the necessary work. Okay. Well, yes, because kids are also so innocent. They just know feelings as real emotions. As you get older, you tend to be more serious and go through hardships. Yeah. Because as a kid, how you view things is your parents, they could do no wrong. They know everything, right? They must know everything because I don't know much, and they're the closest. Like, proximity is power, right? And they know the best. So you, as you're a little kid growing up, and then you're going to school, you're learning different things, but every day you come back home and you're around that type of environment, depending on how that environment is going to, whether it's bringing you up or bringing you down, that's what you're going to operate from, and that's all we know. But that's, I wouldn't say the sad part, but most people stay blaming other people, like, oh, my family raised me like this, so it's their fault. It's like, yeah, okay, maybe, absolutely, yeah. Maybe they didn't know, but you know now that you do have the opportunity to move past that. So ignorance is not bliss, because you do know something better and you have to move towards that. And so, which is why I want to move on to my first slide, which is no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save you. Because, and this is what happens when you tell people problems, right? 80% don't care, and the other 20%, they're glad that you have it. They're glad that you have those problems. Because what happens is, when you tell most people, they feed off that misery. And for them, seeing someone in a lesser position makes them feel good about themselves. So it's kind of like that Jerry Springer effect I always talked about. Like, if I see someone that's already doing worse, why do I need to improve? I don't need to improve. They're already messing up. Our life is great. Look at them. Theirs sucks. But and also this helps justify how they don't need to change. Like, yeah, like why would I need to change? Because that requires work. Most people don't want to work better and move towards what they want because they're comfortable, they're complacent, they're okay with being where they're at. But then when reality hits them and they're like, whoa, I could have done this, I should, like, how come they have all this? And then you start having this sort of resentment even against yourself, and you're starting to have these type of regrets, and that's when you're like, well, I'm already so far behind, what's the point of moving forward? And that's when most people they give up. And you can see it in the way they think, what they do, the jobs, everything. Like they and then a lot of people are talkers too, right? And one thing that really stood out to me when I was actually listening to Julian was, when you're talking to people about your problems, if you do, make sure those people are the people that makes your problem smaller. That takes away that type of negative energy, where they want to see you succeed. They want to see you doing better and becoming better, not people that adds fire to the fuel. Meaning, if you tell them something bad, oh, guess what? I went over to blah 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 today, and luckily, I didn't get the car, right? It's like, oh, poor me, right? Or luckily I didn't do this so that this happened, and they start adding fire to the fuel by saying, you know what? And they start bringing all these things that may could have happened that didn't happen, and they start building up all these like miserable things. It's like they're just adding fire to the fuel to the fire. And those aren't the type of people that you want to tell your stories about, because one, they probably don't care, but two, it makes them feel good about themselves by realizing, like, oh, you experienced it, but all this could have happened too. Well, guess what? Luckily I didn't do that neither, right? Let's see. Sarah, you said, well, for example, behavior is a learned thing. Yes, exactly. That's why different perspectives are good, like seeing who you want to be. Is that a positive or negative person? Hi, Annie. And also, if you complain, that's fine, but keep it minimal. Yes. And so that's why. So the people that I talk to and I talk about my problems, right? Because I'm still human. I still have obstacles and problems. I don't always wake up happy. And when we talk about certain things, we usually lead towards a solution. Even though we talk about the problem, yes, it's necessary to talk about it because you have to feel it to heal it. But then I start my main focus is moving towards a solution, not focusing on a problem. And also, what you will start noticing is the people that you think you're trying to help, you try to give them the advice and they don't take it. Well, stop talking. Stop talking. Because they're not really there for your advice. They're just there to listen to. They just want someone to listen to. Well, they're honestly just wasting your time if they're not trying to become better and try to move towards a solution. So, if they're not listening to your advice, and I'm not saying don't listen to them at all, because everybody needs an ear, but eventually everybody has a breaking point, everybody has a limit, and that limit is basically, look, I've been talking about this for months or weeks or whatever, and nothing seems to be have changed. I haven't seen anything being done, and I don't see you moving towards a solution. So what are you doing? Are you just wasting my time, or what do you want? What do you want? And ask them. Well, I just want to vent and not be told advice. Yeah, and that's fine too. So if you just want to talk about things, that's cool, right? But if you keep repeating that same thing over and over, I'm talking about the same things, right? If you're not moving towards a solution, then it's like, okay, now you're just that type of person that don't want the help. You just want someone to hear you out. Say, yeah, you won't stay there forever. Eventually, you're gonna figure out the solution, right? And what most people is does in that sense is they think they're focusing on a solution. They're not. They just kind of ignore it. But then when it comes back again, you're like, why? Why does all this keep why do things seem to always happen to you? And that's when you start seeing trends, right? That's why I always say you look at what people do, not what they say they'll do. But anyways, no one is coming to save you. No one can save you. You have to save yourself. Um, so it's like this Jerry Springer effect. This helps them justify how they feel like they don't need to change, right? By helping yourself means being in a collaborative state, whether it's with someone that is supportive of your decisions. Hey, I need some advice, or first I need you to hear me out because something's been stacking up and I feel very uncomfortable. I'd love for you to just hear me out. Absolutely. What is it? Tell me. Tell me more. And then after they're done talking, then ask them questions. And then when you start asking them questions, see if they're moving towards a solution too as well, right? Because no one wants to stay there. And some people actually do, surprisingly, because they're familiar with that type of feeling. So, anyways, helping yourself means being in a collaborative state, not a competitive state. You're not trying to compare yourself to other people. It means that you're collaborating, whether it's another person or with yourself. You're trying to understand what is going on. What can I do so that this does not happen again, or lessen the chance of it happening again? Uh, nice, Annie. Um, Sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes, yeah, enjoy things. Yeah, so like everybody have things that you want to do to unwind. Mine's playing video games, dancing, working out, all that. Um, or a hug. Yeah, sometimes knowing that you could just get that hug from that person, and excuse me, but that person needs to be supportive, and that's why communication is so important, right? Because most people can't communicate with the person that they love. They feel very restricted. They feel trapped. It's like you're the closest person, not only in physicalness and in proximity, but emotionally, you're supposed to be the closest person to me. I can't even vent to you because if I were to say something, you're going to, don't worry about it. You be all right, man. Shut up. Like, stop being a little bitch, right? Or, it's like that's not very supportive. Like, what's going on? Let's hear you out. What's up? And you start listening, right? And that's why the power of listening is so powerful. But now, anyways, I want to dive into something that we all know. I'm always listening. I'm always a listening ear. Yeah, and that's great, Sarah, because more people need to be like that. But it comes this part where the people that feel like they need to be most control are the ones that plays the biggest victim when things doesn't go their way, right? They have the loudest mouth, but when things hits the wall or it goes down south, they're the victim. Oh, me, poor me, right? Um, so I see you, not a hugger. But anyways, it's the moment where you start comparing yourself to other people's fortunes and what you're lacking in is the moment you start playing the victim, right? And we already know what the victim does, right? So here's some example, right? People with victim mentality usually comes from past traumas, they're unconsciously always seeking validation. And these are also the people that said, "No, I'm not. I'm not seeking validation." Then why you keep talking about it? You can see what they do, not what they say they'll do. So they're constantly seeking validation. They're all of the above. They're constantly always trying to get that approval. Maybe they just want to be told that things will be okay without them actually doing anything. And that's not how you get things done. Okay? Um you truly think, here's another one. You truly think that life is against you. Things happen to you, not for you. Like, oh, why does this always happen to me? It's like, no, like you caused this. Own up to it. Can you? And if you can't, then you need to be aware. And if you're unwilling to be aware because you can't control yourself and because you're impatient, well, that's something you have to work on. not other people. No one's coming to save you. You make your own luck. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because now I feel like luck has a role, but people, like, you don't just get lucky to be on stage and play against the best player, for example. You just don't. You have to grind. You don't just become, you know what, I want to be a singer, and then like all of a sudden you're on stage the next day and you're like winning Grammys, right? Those take time. Think in terms of decades. And that's one of the best advice that I've learned from, from coach. It's being able to enjoy the process, do what you love, and move towards that every single day. And that's where you have a focus. Well, hard working brings luck. But yeah, absolutely. And you also want to be able to put in. You need to put into action, and also action speaks louder than words. Yeah. But these are the people that plays this victim. Oh, poor me. Things happen to me, not for you, right? Like you can see the difference when things happen. When you see things that's happening to you, you're a victim. When you see things that's happening for you, even in the same situation, when you see things that happens for you, you could learn to see things in a better perspective. You're a little bit more optimistic about certain things. And so you could say, for example, in a breakup, most people, they would start blaming the other person, and they might take a little blame for themselves. But let's just say you take the same person but with a different mindset, and they're like, you know what, even though I could not, even though that person cheated on me, right, even though that person did what they did, what is something that I can do next time so that that does not happen to me again? Was it something I've said? Was it the pre-screening process that I missed some red flags? Like, what were some of the things that I could have done? So that's when you start taking that accountability. The best things all the time is the process, even though the process sometimes you will hit bumps. Exactly. So more importantly, it's what you did, not the result. The result's great. If it's in your favor, maybe you asked for a raise, right? You asked for a raise and you got declined. You at least asked. Now you can ask yourself, well, what's something I could do next to build my value so that when I do ask for that raise, maybe it's the way I approached it. Could I have approached it a little bit better that would have increased my chances of that raise? Maybe. So that's why it's so much more important to work on yourself than you do on just a job. You know what I mean? Always constantly work on yourself, and then you will start building value, and people will start seeing value in you because they see that growth. People don't like seeing people that's always stagnant. Eventually, when you outgrow them, you're not going to be around them, right? So, anyways, moving on to the victim role. Let's see. Agree, but I also disagree with someone who plays victim might have learned that behavior from childhood. It's definitely something you have to switch into your brain and learn to change it. Exactly, right? You got to participate in your own rescue. So, anyways, you truly think that life is against you. You feel stuck in life and approach things with this very pessimistic, this negative attitude. And you always think like, oh yeah, and then you talk about miserable things like, oh yeah, this is what that person did to me. Can you believe that? Like, and then you're saying it to this other person that's adding fuel to the fire. Oh yeah, you know what? Luckily, you're not with that person anymore because they could have done this too. They could have done that, and you could think of a million things, right? You could always think of a million things that could go wrong, but you can't focus on one thing that could go right. And those are the type of people you don't want to tell your problems to. You don't want to tell them that because they're not really there to want you to be better. Maybe they do. Maybe. But in reality, they're saying it for themselves because no one will ever do or say anything that is not a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves at the moment, whether it's accurate or not. So, really, most people's favorite subject is about themselves. You ever notice when you ask someone else for their opinion, they will give you their opinion, not what you think you should feel, or right? It's their opinion about something. Everyone and everything has good and bad. It's how you turn it around and make it better, right? It's how you It's your mindset, it's your perspective. And I feel I'll talk about it later, but I want to finish this victim blaming, right? You feel attacked when someone tries to offer helpful feedback. Now, I feel like that's a little bit extreme, but it's possible, right? You try to give them some advice, and they're like, "Oh, what the f you mean?" Right? It's like, yo, it's not supposed to be personal, but you do need to work on yourself, right? Why does this always happen? Why? Feeling bad for yourself gives you relief or pleasure. That's a victim. Feeling bad for yourself gives you relief. So how, yo? So how what, Sarah? So feeling bad for yourself, and then you start attracting those who blames others and complain about life. Right? How would you deal with it? Uh, it I too give advice and they get mad at you. Oh, if how would you deal with it if you gave? I see it as if you were to give advice and they were mad. Usually, one is because maybe, quite possibly, they're not ready for advice. They're not ready for advice. Um, so maybe just hold back that tongue just a little bit and hear them out. But after a while, you have to see whether or not they're trying to move toward a solution versus always focusing on a problem. So you can start asking questions like, how would you do things differently? And what I've noticed is a good indicator of them not really trying to do anything better is they say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's not that they don't know. They don't want to find, because thinking requires effort, and effort requires action for something to change. So if nothing changes, well, guess what? They're gonna be in the same boat, even if they always play victim. Yeah, they they just very attention speak. They seek for a lot of validation and attention because they need that they need that energy to thrive off of. So they thrive off of being negative. That and then you remember that quote, misery loves company? That's absolutely true. You get two people that is miserable and they could be in this box and they could just talk shit about people all freaking day. Nonstop. And I'm like, okay. And so that's why it's so important to like feel that type of energy. It's like when I'm around some people, like, hey, if there's something that you have to say, fine, I'll hear you out. But if you're only gonna talk smack about the other person, I am not interested in hearing you out. I really am not. I don't. I don't. If anything, that drains me. I don't care. I don't care. Now, if you do have something that's related to moving forward, then yeah, absolutely. I can. Okay, Yaku. You get that validation from the. Let's see. And lastly, it's difficult for you to examine yourself because that means that you have to be vulnerable. And most people in that victim role, they don't want to be vulnerable. Everything happens to them. Why do I need to change? People need to change around me. They need to. Well, you're not that special, so no one's gonna. And then you find yourself lonely. You're gonna find yourself very lonely, right? Anyways, slide number 2, which is become obsessed with the process of success. Missed a lot, but always I rewatch it and fall asleep because it's too long. Thanks, Annie. Appreciate it. All right, so become obsessed with the process of success. Because this is what happens. When you're obsessed with the progress of the when you're obsessed with the progress, you learn to appreciate the time being spent on improving things. And time seems to, like, it just passes by. You're like, holy crap, it's been 3 hours. It's like, wow, things just move so quickly. And you love and you're passionate about the things that you do. So these are the type of things that will keep you up late at night, and it still does. And it's usually the first thing you want to think. It's usually the first thing you think about in the morning. So a good audit for yourself is, where do you find your mind constantly thinking about when you wake up? What do you constantly think about? And when if you say nothing, then what happens when after you wake up, you give yourself a little bit of time, maybe you got your coffee, whatever it is, you brush your teeth, and what do you think about? What are you focusing on? And if you say nothing, then I suggest being able to find something that emotionally compels you to think about something that you're passionate about, because then you feel like life is actually worth waking up to and moving towards something. Because sometimes a lot of people, when I ask them questions, I'm like, what do you want? I don't know. Well, I don't know is not a good enough answer. I don't know is not good enough. And if you don't know, then I suggest that you try to find out. And they still continue to say, I don't know, I don't know. That means they don't want to help themselves, and they want you to feed them answers. They want you to tell them what to think, not how to think. They're not really asking you questions, right? So, anyways, things that keep you up late at night and the first thing you want to think about, right? And most people don't focus on what they want in life, and they live their life in this quiet desperation. And if you don't know, you know, forgot who said that. Now, what happens when you become obsessed with the things that you love doing is opportunity starts to find you. You still one, yes, absolutely, you still have to put yourself out there. If you don't put yourself out there and you just keep it hidden, no one will know. But naturally, you will start gravitating towards this direction that you choose. So, I didn't know anything about the gym before. I didn't know how to work out. I was just very, not, I wouldn't say chubby, but I was just very out of shape. I was an unhealthy child. All I ate was like chips, and I just ate whatever I want. I didn't care. Well, I was also young too at the time, but I didn't know. I didn't know anything. I was like, life is the way it is, right? And then I started putting myself in situations where, even though I felt a little uncomfortable, being in a gym was very, very uncomfortable. So when I got there, I was like, I don't know anything. Yeah, I'll fold towels. I'll learn. Then I started, picking brains from the trainers, and there were good trainers and there were horrible trainers. But I stuck to the good ones, and I learned what not to do about the bad ones. I learned what not to do. So those they taught me a great deal of what not to do, and learning from what you should be doing. That's great, right? That's why people that are influencers online, be careful. Don't just follow their advice, right? Put myself out there. Nah, some people are mean and rude and ignorant. Like, nah. Well, that's something that if you want to succeed in, you must be willing to have. One, you got to put yourself out there. You got to be vulnerable. People are mean behind the camera and behind that little keyboard. Call them keyboard warriors. And you have to be willing to take the chance. And you just have to be prepared for all these negative comments. I remember when I did my first music video, everyone was talking so much smack. Who do you think you are? Blah, blah, blah. You're not him. But I'm like, no, I never said I was. Right? And of course, in the beginning, it got to me. But I was like, these are just people that don't have anything going on for themselves. So I'm not going to sit here and try to fuel them to make, because what they really want is a reaction from me, and that's how they thrive. I thrive off of people with great ideas. um let's see. So you start moving towards you, opportunity starts finding you. And then here's another thing: you start becoming more confident, and then you're more competent on doing the things that you're going to be doing, right? Haters are going to hate. And it's funny because I think I have it in the next two slides too. I was talking about haters. But yeah, people, it will start naturally. You're gonna gravitate towards it. You'll become more confident in the things that you do, and you're gonna be competent, because inaction breeds fear and doubt. Taking action breeds confidence and courage, right? And when you become so good at what you do, others can't get their eyes off of you. They just love watching you. You in love with what you do, um, and you fall in love with your genuine passion. And um, I've had a few people at the gym actually walk up to me, and that's actually very courageous. Most people don't walk up to people nowadays. But anyways, there was a few people that walked up to me and they were like, I don't know what it is, but whenever I'm on a treadmill, I'm on this elliptical, and I'm watching you dance, and then I get to see you, up close, right? They say like, you just I n- I feel you dancing, like you love what you do. And I was like, yeah, I do. And then they start asking me questions, and you know I'm still human. Everyone's favorite topic is about themselves, right? So they were like, yeah, what made you like want to dance, especially in like such, and how can you do that? Like, I can never do that. And I was like, oh, it's because, and my answer is always the same. I dance because I really don't like running on a treadmill. I still run on a treadmill. I choose, if I could choose not to, I'd rather do my cardio that way. And also this helps me build on my, on my ability to dance a little bit better, I guess, right? And of course, and after I'm usually done with that, I always tend to ask them what they like too, because I'm just as curious. If someone's curious about me, I'm curious about what they're curious about, because that means that this might be a potential person that would be great to talk to. Okay, what's going on? Okay, I'm teaching my friend how to ask a girl, and he did swing and miss. Okay, haters. Haters are those insecure about themselves. If you feel, if they feel you dancing, just have, if they feel you dancing, you just have to not dance so close. it's um, it's a different feel. You know what I mean? It's a different type of feel. They're like, I could feel that you love what you do, and I was like, yes, I do. Um, yeah, and I enjoy it a lot, and there will be times too where I'm actually focused on my movements, but most of the time when I'm there, I'm just kind of like, Mitchell, just have some fun, just have some fun, do some cardio, okay. Anyways, yeah, and here's while you're becoming obsessed with the process of success, you don't really have to worry about people too much, because you're obsessed with what you enjoy. And most people are too focused on themselves to even worry about what you're doing. Maybe they're curious, but at the end of the day, the most important topic, or whoever it is themselves. They're too Everyone's focused on themselves. So what does it mean? It means that you should focus on yourself first. Okay. And if you allow them to drag you down, take accountability. Take accountability and be responsible enough to walk away from those type of people. And I know it could be difficult, especially if you know them for a very long time, right? So with the fading effect bias in a relationship, you tend to gravitate towards them after a certain period of time, because all the negative things starts to decrease and the positive things about that person starts to amplify. So which is why the fading effect bias is so strong, which is why you see most people going back to their exes. But you know a big part of it is to look at reality as it is. Like, what did that person do for you to leave them, or them leave you? Like, what is it? Right? And usually if someone's leaving you, it's because of what you're doing. Okay. And so take it, or it could be, usually, I'm not saying this is set in stone, but if they're leaving you, this is usually because you have something that made them feel less interested in you. Mystery excites your life's journey. Long quote. Okay, so you're gonna start a quote book, Annie? So yeah, take that accountability and be responsible enough to walk away from those people. And what was the other one? I can't think of it. Sunk cost fallacy, right? Where if you feel like you already invested a lot of time into that person, you're like, they might change. It's like, yeah, no, they won't. No, they won't. So when you, what happens when you ignore reality? You already know. Okay, this is why becoming self-reliant is essential to your happiness, and happiness must come from you first. And I know I talked about this earlier on my other live, but if you're a very negative, pessimistic type of person, and you find someone that's very attractive in a positive state, if you're not at their level, meaning you don't see eye to eye, right? They see things as half full, their cup is half full and yours is half empty. Eventually, you're gonna turn them off, and they're not gonna want to be around you anymore. And then you left scratching yourself. It's like, oh man, that person's a bitch anyways. It's like, no, you probably have some things that you need to work on. Prime example are my exes. Thank God that's over. They were so toxic. Yeah, people don't change, and it's difficult to find someone that wants to change. It's difficult. Um, Random number. 3001 quotes. I'm telling JR. I'm telling JR. But becoming self-reliant is so important and so essential to your own happiness. Okay? Which is the next thing that I want to share, which is you're there to share each other's completeness, right? Now, you're not there completely. Not everyone's born completed, but you're working towards it, right? And that's why I love the quote from Jim Rohn, which is, I will take care of me for you if you will take care of you for me. It means that I don't need to tell you, or I shouldn't be the person to tell you, to push you towards that direction of improving yourself. And the reason why is because if you're at this place where you constantly want to become better, like how can I do this? How can I become better? And this person stays stagnant, that person eventually you're not going to see them eye to eye. Your values are going to be a little bit different. And when that happens, you're like, it was fun being around you. It was a pleasure. I had a lot of great times, but there's some things that we just don't see eye to eye anymore. And it usually it kind of sucks, but it's you got to do what's best for you. You got to do what's best for you. Basically, if you are happy, so are they. Yeah. And here's the beautiful part too. It's knowing that, let's just say that's your partner, right? Your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever. Knowing that you're going to have bad days. That person is there to support you. What's going on? Baby, what's going on? Honey, whatever. What's going on? Right? And you feel comfortable and safe to open up to them and talk about whatever that's been on your mind. And you let them know by, I'm just going to listen. I'll hear you out. What is bothering you? And of course, you got to be that person to find a solution at the very end of it. But also, they are willing to listen to your own. Mitchell, are you happy? Yes. Yes, I am. But then you got to be able to be in a place where I'm not going to step over my boundary, but at the same time, I'm still going to try to gently lead you, not force you to do something that you don't want to, but let them know that, hey, I am here. If there's something that you want to talk about, I will listen. So, whatever you're going through, I'll be here as long as you need me to. But, like I said, everybody does have a limit. Everybody has a limit. And if you keep pushing that limit and you're not really moving towards a solution and they don't see any type of progress, they're gonna be like, yo, you're just wasting my time now. You're just gonna be wasting my time. Burning fire of happiness here. Ooh, I see what you're doing, Annie. To Yaku. All right. So that's why when you're there to share each other's completeness, finding the right partner in life means that they must align with your goals and values. Like, what do you value the most? If you value communication, that person does not want to communicate, or they're bad at communicating, and you address that, and they're like, it's just difficult for me to open up. And okay, well, let me hear you out. Why is it difficult for you to open up? And it's not to say I'm your boyfriend or I'm your significant other and you should be able to open up. Like, no, people have past traumas that they need to deal with themselves. So that's why Hear them out. What caused them to not open up? What is it? And you're there to make them feel safe and secure. Mitchell advice might have turned into a love advice. It is. It is. Absolutely. Right? So a lot of these advice is relationship related, but the best relationship you can have is the relationship you can have with yourself. And the first step is being aware. Being aware of what you want to move towards, being aware of what you want to let go. And it's huge because people can move forward, but a lot of people have a lot of things that they need to let go of that they're not. And when they don't let that go, they're carrying on this dead weight that drags them down no matter how high they move. I gotta watch Ocean. So that's the thing, it's being able to work on yourself. And that's why as long as you work towards becoming better version of yourself, you're going to naturally attract those like-minded people. Now, you're not going to attract a lot of them because there's not a lot of good quality people out there. I'm going to be real, okay? There's not a lot of good quality people. You could tell me that yourself, okay? Maybe you have a million of them. So congratulations. Mitchell have not yet met that many good quality people. All right? You need to be your own priority. Yeah. And you got to participate in your own rescue. You have to do this for yourself if you want to attract the right person. Now, if you're going to find the right person and you're not there and you're not at the same level, you're going to turn them off, okay? And they're not going to want to stay around you anymore. I am my own love. I am working on a relationship right now. Meh. You got to have this positive outlook, but not be overly positive. You know what I mean? Like you still got to look at reality as it is. Like, where are you at? Right? I'm not like, if someone be like, oh, rate your own attraction level. I'm not a 10. Okay. I don't have the height. Okay. Apparently I'm a 2 when I was doing this grading scale, but I was like, oh, well, you know, let's see. Oh, I do not have everything up to oneself to get those upgrades. This sounds like a video game all of a sudden. You just start scrolling and upgrading your equipment. All right. So let's see, where was I? Okay. So I talked about, this doesn't mean you can't have bad days. But you're there to be able to support each other because you can't give what you don't have. So if you already wake up every day drained and tired and your partner wants to talk to you about certain things and you're shut up, like I'm already dealing with a whole bunch of shit, you're not really there in a relationship. You're there for yourself. Don't be in a relationship. I'm not saying you can't have bad days, but if you constantly find yourself waking up like that, or you constantly find yourself walking home through the doors and, or you're getting ready to wait for your partner to come back so that I could just lash at that person and that person could be my punching bag, nobody wants to be around that, right? Let's see, relationship goes both ways. Yeah, I think it's more likely girls go both ways. Oh yeah, cool. All right, so that's why I was like, you got to find the right person, but you got to become the person you want to attract, okay? And if you don't know what you want, that is not a good enough answer. Unless you want to settle with mediocrity, that's your choice. I don't force anybody to become something that they don't want to invest their own time in, right? And that's why a lot of people that do become more successful, maybe they heard my advice and they're like, yo, I'm really grateful, like, and they thank me. I'm like, you did the work, I just talked about it. So it takes more work on your end. So I should just marry one. Sarah, you could, I mean, if that's what you want, if that's what you like, right? That's what you enjoy. But anyways, I'm not gonna comment too much on that. So you must participate in your own rescue and enjoy the process of growth in order for growth to persist. You got to make sure. You got to be constantly improving. And guess what? You're never going to stop. You can take breaks, but you're not going to stop. Okay? Focus on doing the daily disciplines to get where you want to be. Set an aim, Remember the reason why you want to do it, right? With the bigger the why, the easier the how. It doesn't, and also how you get there is not as important, but the process of you doing it and enjoying the process, that's how you're going to consistently do it. Yes, motivation is a great factor, but it's not going to be consistent. Motivation is not something that's going to continue if you're not there emotionally compelled to do that thing. So that's why a lot of people get this idea of, New Year's resolution, but I could guarantee you now the same people that made that New Year's resolution to lose whatever type of pounds or whatever, they're not at the gym anymore. They're not at the gym, right? I see a big dip on of the same faces, right? You tend to see the same faces at the gym. You're not desperate. The love is love. I guess is your definition of it, right? And I'm here to elaborate on what I think it is. I stopped that I stopped that years ago. Yeah, you just gotta do what you do, enjoy it, right? Not everything has to start on a Monday. You could do it on a Wednesday too, right? Happy Hump Day. So, anyways, so in order for growth to persist, you gotta become better than who you already are, unless you're willing to settle for mediocrity. So, focus on the daily discipline, set an aim, okay? Either you run the day or the day runs you. So, Jim Rohn. So, this gonna be having a lot of quotes coming in. Learn how to be happy with what you have while pursue all that you want. I think that's in other words being grateful for what you got. And then achieve more for yourself. Right? What do you want? What do you want? And is that greed? No. You're already happy with what you have. But you still want more for yourself. That's not greed. Now, and this is the definition of success. It's being able to go after what you want, whatever it is. You want to be the best mother. You want to be the best at a video game, whatever it is. That is what success is. And Earl Nightingale said this, which is success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Success is a person that wants to be the best at what they do. That's successful. Being a mother, right? Being a best employee. That if that success means to them, then in by definition, they are successful for themselves. You might not think that, but it's not you to judge. And if they're judging them, chances are you're in a shittier state than they are. Okay? So share who you are, not who you think you should. And Joe Rogan said this. He said, haters are all failures. If 100% across the board, yeah, it is 100% across the board. No one who is truly brilliant at anything is a hater. Like, and the better you're at a certain thing, the more appreciative you are for the things that's better and things that's less than, or where you once were, right? That's just the way it is. Was Mitchell a hater once before? Absolutely. I was like, yeah, what is this person? Who do you think they are? Blah blah. And I was like, yeah, they proved me wrong. Mitchell, you don't know shit, Mitchell. Let's see. I make a new day resolution. I want to be the okay. Too lazy cash. Yo, I gotta send you something about Pokemon later too. Yaku is funny. But I think what Joe Rogan said really stood out because anybody that's really hating on anybody, they're all failures. They're all failures for themselves. Now they could be successful at what they do. It doesn't mean that they're failing at that. But how I analyze what Joe Rogan said is they're still failing at, meaning they're limiting themselves, whether it's the thought or what they do. So, if you felt so, there's a bullet point. If you not felt acknowledged, appreciated, or valued, then you will feel that way towards then you will feel that way towards others. It's lacking within yourself and an absence of love because no one will ever do or say anything that is not a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves. So if you find yourself or you find other people saying things to you, saying like, oh, like why you so bad, or like, yeah, you good but you ain't this good, it's like that's how they feel about themselves. That's how they feel about themselves. And it's different. Yeah, this is a safe space. First step is admitting, yeah, I hate on food but I love to, and I'm first I do enjoy a bag of chips every now and then, even though it causes me canker sores. Um, so people can't hate you if you want what's best for them. I mean, they could, they can't really truly hate you. They could hate you for a while, but if your true intentions is like, look, I just really want what's best for you, and you're not there forcing them, and you're just kind of reminding them something, and they get mad, eventually they're gonna learn to let that go, and they'll be like, well, that person actually want what's best for me, right? After all the emotion kind of like just goes down, they're not as fired up, they're not as pissed off, they're like, okay, well, maybe that person really just want what was best for me at the time, and I pushed them away. And like I said, everybody has a limit, and that limit, once it breaks, usually most people don't come back, or at least the people that knows. Here's the thing: people can hurt you and people can hurt you and disappoint you. Food can. Can they? I think they could. Once it goes in your body, and if you have a stomach ache, that's painful. And have you yeah, food poisoning is not good. Food poisoning is not good. But if you eat the right food, it's nutritious, then you'll be in a much happier state. All right, Sarah, you could have. I said nothing. Mitchell, nope, didn't say anything. Um, so people can't really hate you if you want what's best for them by gently leading, right, without force or pressure. Because here's the thing: no one likes to feel forced. No one wants to feel like they're trapped, right? Whether it's an animal, a person in a relationship, like that's why guys that always try to lock a woman down into a relationship before they're ready feels like they're trapping them, because it's a projection of their insecurities. It's a projection of their insecurities. Like, let's put it like this. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Let's just put me and 10 other guys. So nine other, 10 including me, right? And there's one girl, okay? I am not going to be upset if she talks to other people. Number one, I can't be. We're not exclusive. And if we are exclusive and she is still talking to those 10, what does it mean? Mitchell, well, you messed up. It means that you did not screen or pre-screen this person properly. What were some of the red flags that you messed up on? Okay? But let's just say she is a good person. And when you talk, I'm talking, but she wants to, who doesn't want the best option for themselves, right? You don't go into a restaurant and give me the worst fucking dish that you got that, that's gonna give me a stomach ache. No. No. Yeah, Kiki. Yeah. What scene are you setting up? Yeah, Kiki, right? So I'm talking to Kiki, right? So I'm talking to Kiki. Kiki got 10 guys. I just gotta be the most irresistible option. That's it. That's all I could do, because it's not my choice to choose her. It's her choice to really choose me. I just gotta be the best option. But at the same time, if she's dating, I'm dating too. So I'm also looking out for my best options for myself. Is this Kiki the best option? No. What's up, Kiki? Right? We're using Kiki as example. So you have 9 others to beat. Yes, absolutely. You gotta beat. I'm not beating them. I'm not in competition, but at the same time, you can't make a person choose you by using logic and reasoning. That's just not gonna happen. Unless it's BTS. Yeah, if it's like this, look. If definitely I lost time. Okay, so if that person loves BTS and BTS magically walks up, I'm just gonna be like, well, I just lost. I'm not BTS. I don't have multi-million records sold out concerts. But yeah, go ahead. It's fine. I could, I know where I'm at, and I could yeah. How is Kiki? By the way? Kiki is an imaginary name that we made up. I forgot how, but we made her up. I think it was because it happened many, many episodes ago. So Kiki is flirting with 10 other people. With 10 people. Yeah, Kiki she just a very flirtatious type. She just wants to keep her best option open. If I want Kiki, I just gotta be the most irresistible option. Kiki's just she's too flirtatious. No, I mean, like, hey, you know, if now also if she's really juggling that many guys around, right? And of course, I have to screen her properly, right? I don't want her to continue. Let's just say she chose me, right? Why wouldn't she? Right? Best option here, right? And she chooses me, and she still continue to have these other guys around, and she's like building those bridge, right? Because she likes the validation, she likes the attention. That do you really want to be a part of that? Do you really want to be a part of that, right? And if they need so much validation from outside, right, from other people, like pressing likes, oh my god, you're so pretty, fire emojis, right, fire, and you get all this, what happens when she doesn't have it? What happens when she doesn't have? She's gonna go ballistic on you. And do you want to be a part of that fire? No, I don't want to get burned. Okay. Kiki is a cute dog name. Yeah. Speaking of dog names, it's weird when I hear human names on dogs. Okay, it's weird, right? Can you imagine hearing your own dog, a dog's name? Come here, Mitchell. Like, don't talk to me like that. No, I was talking to my dog. Still, watch your mouth, right? Or come here, Sarah. Come here, Yaku. Come here, Annie. Right? Like that's weird. Okay, isn't Kiki a Pete? I don't know. I don't. I don't know. Yaku. I don't know. Where do we? How did we get so far? But anyways, let's see. Let's see. What was I saying? Hold up. This whole Kiki thing messed me up. Okay, people can't be mad about what you want, what's best for them. Okay, and here's also another one. Okay, share who you are, not who you think you should be. Right. Just if you are a person that really, you know, that radiates like genuineness, love, caring, compassion, and you're selfless, and being selfless doesn't mean like you have to be a doormat and be like yes, 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 right? But it means that you're doing it for the right people, right? And to reach there might be a few things you must learn to let go and learn to appreciate and be grateful. Both sides of the spectrum, right? Because when you are this person, you no longer have to put up this mask or build this wall up so that you don't have to hide away from certain things, right? And it's while that process, oh she's oh she's yeah, this all kind of just goes back into this dirty thoughts, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is not about self-improvement and about happiness. It's about Kiki riding people now. I see. Yeah, so that's why it's so rare to have like certain people that radiates this type of love, this genuineness, this type of energy. It's really being able to work on yourself so that you could attract this right person into your life, because you don't want to be chasing or finding this right person, because if you don't radiate the right level of energy, they're not gonna be they wouldn't want to stay around you long. And if you're putting up this front of this person that you're not, eventually who you are is going to be revealed. And once it's revealed, well, guess what? They're gonna leave you, and you're gonna be left scratching your head like, well, I had so many blah blah blahs in the past, right? So it's like someone that says, you know, I slept with hella girls, or like I have hella girlfriends, or a lot of girlfriends in the past. It's like, all right, so none of them stayed. Why? Oh yeah, but you know, I slept with this many girls. Yeah, that's great. Anyone with money could do that too. Or you know, or if you got a lot of game, congratulations. Very, very surface level. But you know, what made them not want to stay? Did they leave? Did you leave? Was it whose choice was it? Right? Um, Yeah. So if you have that many, that that's something that you should really question. Okay. Let's see. You know us, yeah. she Mitchell's nothing wrong with overly pot. There is, because when you're like, oh, everything will be okay. Like, no, no, it's not. You should step away from that cliff, because if you keep walking forward, you might fall off. Yeah, but I'm overly positive. Everything will be okay. No, it's not. No, it's not. So, you should keep your way. Like, you should step towards me and away from that cliff. Okay, that's overly positive. Okay, pretending that nothing will ever hurt you. Mm-hmm. All right, so learn to let go and learn to appreciate and be grateful and move towards something. So if you're here, okay, you want to learn to improve better, but you also have to learn to let things go. Okay, what's going on? Who wishes? Plenty of girlfriends. It's called faith. All right, guys. All right, so the true essence of happiness must be coming from you first, right? Then you won't feel the need to feel like you have to chase somebody. But instead, you start attracting those who are like minded, because that's who you are. I can radiate love and positivity. You okay, Chevelin, you just came in out of nowhere. I know you graduating. Congratulations, by the way, but what does that even mean? What does that mean? Okay. Happiness is not something so I think Jim Rohn said this. Happiness is not something you postpone for the future. It is something you design for the present. Okay? Something that you attract, but not want it at the moment. I don't know anyone that says I just want to be miserable. But I think that's where I'm getting at. Anyways, guys, that was my slides for today, for tonight's show, right? Um, how was it? How do you guys like it? Um, what was the first thing that really stood out to me the most? Stop sharing things to other people that don't care. And when you start sharing to those people, be cautious of who you share it to. Are these the people that makes your life better by removing some of that negative energy, by actually listening to you, by not adding fuel to the fire? Not the people it's like, yeah, yeah. Oh, luckily you didn't do this. Oh, this could have happened. Yeah. It's like, yeah, no, those aren't the right people to tell them to tell, because they're not really there for you. They're just there for themselves, and it makes them feel better about themselves by telling you, "Oh, luckily you didn't do that." Right? It's like, oh, like imagine having a business, right? And then pandemic hits, and then your business shut down, and then you're like, well, luckily we didn't let's make up a name, Eric. Luckily I wasn't, I didn't do it like Eric. I planned on doing it, and Eric, um he lost a lot of money, yada yada yada, like. And then the other person, right, let's call her Kiki number two, and she's like, yeah, 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 like, see, also this could have happened. You could have even lost even more money if you would have invested into this. It's like, yo, those are the people that's too scared to even make any type of risk. At least Eric at the time did something and tried, and he learned from experience. Yes, it costed him money, but he is in a better position than you are, because that is his life experience. He lost money. He knew how it felt. He knew exactly what not to do. Kiki and Mimi. Okay, is Mimi a dog name or a cat's name? While happiness have many different definitions, it is often described as involving positive emotions and life satisfactions. Yeah. And it's being able to be grateful for what you have while pursuing all that you want. And I love that about that quote, is because look, Mitchell hasn't bought a new shirt. I really want to buy a new shirt, but I'm like, do I really need it? So I'm just recycling things over and over, right? That's what water and detergent and air is for, right? So that we could just wash the clothes, and yeah, and yeah, just air it out. Air it out. Then buy the new shirt. No, no, I'm not gonna buy it. I don't need to. I don't need to. Mm-mm. Sarah, you're a bad influence. Not no. When most people when most people talk about happiness, they might be talking about how they feel in the present moment. They might be referring to more general sense of how they feel about life overall. Yeah. And it's not really a focus thing. You want to focus on why. Focus on the cause. It's so important to focus on the cause of what you're trying to get at. No, no. I don't need a new shirt. I have plenty. I actually need to start donating a lot. There's so many that I haven't worn. It's ridiculous, right? I just wear what I like. Also, it's also in proximity. I don't want to dig in the box, right? And the last time I did, what ended up happening was I got itchy, and it's because I didn't wash it for a very long time. I washed it, put it away, didn't do anything for many years, put it back on, took it back off because I got itchy. Okay, it's not a good sign. Do you do a garage sale? I don't trust people. I don't trust people. I want to do it. No, I was kidding. No, I wouldn't do a garage sale. What I actually start doing is I just post things online, and if they buy it, they buy it. If they don't, Mitchell has on Versace. I'm more of a Gucci guy. I like Gucci a little bit more. There is something that I do want, but I'm like, nah, I don't need it. No, 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 I don't need it. Do I like? Yeah, do I really need that Gucci blank? I don't need it. Not right now, at least. Not right now. Would it make me happy? Man, yeah, maybe temporarily, but it's not something that I'm like, oh, I can't wait. If I wore this, everyone like, no, it's not. Gucci what? Gucci something. It's Gucci something. Everything must be in balance, whether mentally, physically, emotionally. Period. Um, yeah, no. I don't even know if that guy is still around. Like, is he still relevant? Is he still relevant? It was nice. It was nice to be in a to be at the tournament, even though I wasn't even there. Like, when I did that the Genesis, when I was at the hotel, I ended up only staying at that tournament place for like maybe an hour tops, and then I left. I didn't even stay there long enough to even meet or say hi to the people I wanted to. But it's all right. It's all good. I went there for my friend, and I ate a lot of good food. Drank a lot of alcohol. Speaking of alcohol, I'm drinking uh, seltzer right now. Let's see. Gucci will make you. What's up with this Gucci talk? All right, let me ask you this: Gucci or Louis Vuitton? Go. Tell me, tell me what do you guys like? What do you guys like more, Gucci or Louis Vuitton, and why? Gucci or Louis Vuitton? Balance of emotions. Everyone experiences both positive and negative emotions. Feeling and moods. Happiness is generally linked to experiencing more positive feelings than negative. Yes. Most people think about, oh, I have to be happy. Like, no. How are you going to deal with the days that you are not happy? And how do you get back into that center so that you're not so bothered by it? LV is very commercialized now. Oh, okay. Um, oh, just take the money. All right, what's the most expensive like brush or pen that you want, Yaku? Right, and how much does it cost? Well, like, what's the most expensive pen? Because I was talking to Justin, he was like, yo, this is pen, right? And I was like, holy shit, that's an expensive ass pen. Or something that you could draw in, right? Anything too much is no good, just like our body needs electrolytes and math. Got it? The real artist can make any tool work. I like how Gucci is very classic. Yeah, sometimes. I do. I have this very cute little cute Gucci thing. This wallet is very nice. It's very minimal, right? Carries a few cards, right? Put in a few dollars in there, and that's good. I don't want to hold wallets anymore. I can relate to all your branding clothes. I'm just not into the materialistic things. Yeah, yeah. You don't need to. You don't need to. I just so happen to like Pokemon a lot, and Palace and Stussy. Stussy actually was my first um, brand that I really enjoyed because I felt like whenever I wore Stussy, it's, it's weird because I was like, if I wear Stussy, I feel like I could dance better. Like, no, no, you don't. And it just became this brand that I really, really enjoyed. So, if you guys see me wear a lot of Stussy, it's because Stussy is my favorite brand, right? Yeah, it's a Gucci credit card wallet. Um, I like Cheeky brand. What's a Cheeky brand? We still like the style. I feel like, all right, so I think Chevelin and we discussed about this before. I was like, I'm not a stylist. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know too much. I just see things and I just put it on. See things, I put it on. And I put it on, and sometimes I'm like, nope, it doesn't look good, so I take it back off. Anyways, um, I'm not a very fashion kind of guy. But when it comes to like luxury brands, like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Balenciaga, and all that, I feel like if you wear too many, whether and also it can't be too loud, right? Like let's just say you got a Gucci wallet, that's cool, right? And then you got a Gucci belt, okay, cool. And then you got a Gucci shoes, that's enough, okay. And then let's just say you had like a Gucci button-up shirt with Gucci glasses and Gucci this, and like if you have too much Gucci going on and you got a Gucci backpack, like usually my limit, at least from what I've seen, is unless you work there, okay, usually two, maybe three, depending on how loud that thing screams. That's usually a lot, right? If you have a backpack, if you have a belt, those two is enough, okay? That's enough. Even if the belt is hidden. Now you tell me if what my judgment is wrong, okay? But I think that's enough. Now, if you have shoes, belt, and you got a wallet, and sometimes you pull it out, I think that's cool. You got three, which is cool. If you have the backpack, the belt, and shoes, and you pull out the wallet, it's like, yo, dude, you doing too much. Two to three is okay, right? Two to three. Cheek brand. Cheek. Are you talking about what type of cheeks? The only brand. Jello Jordan kicks, saving it for life. Annie, by the way, with those kicks, those Jordan 4s, if you don't wear them sometimes after a period of time, they start to crumble. So if you take it out the closet and it's been like 10, 20 years, I forget how long it is, 15, 20, and you take a step, everything crumbles, okay? It crumbles, okay? And then you're left with your shoe with your foot out. which defeats the purpose of having a shoe. So I suggest you do wear Jordan 4s. Jordan 1s don't really crumble as much, or it's harder for it to crumble. Jordan 5s crumble, so yeah. Let's see. Overdoing it doesn't look good. Yeah, right? It's like those people that over exaggerate. Unless that's what you want to attract. I mean, to each their own. I think 2 to 3 is a lot already, right? 2 to 3 is a lot. You know what? I feel like, yeah, too much attention seeking is exhausting. Yeah, it is. Right? Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, that's just my thought. Good luck to those peeps who can give that. Yeah, I mean, if you got it and that's what you want to attract and that's what's gonna keep them happy, if they're money driven and money hungry, and that's what drives them, right? Like if your girl just wants money and like buying nice bags and stuff, like yeah, you know what? If that's what you could afford and you like that type of love, to each their own, then do you. I wouldn't want that. I would want something a little bit more genuine, right? Like, how was your day? What you been, like, oh, and then like really hear people out, right? I feel like once you have a deeper connection with somebody, it means way more than anything materialistic. And if you're stuck in something that's very materialistic, then just be prepared for life. Of being mediocre and not really having a serious relationship with yourself or other people. Okay, if money can solve that problem, right? We know many, many, many rich people that, yeah, are not bum cheeks. Okay, all right. Let's see. Too much of the same brand as no, no. It's like a guy who wears too much Axe spray. Yeah, Axe spray was very high school. So, yeah. Oh, don't get me started in cologne. Okay, I think 2 sprays is a lot. 2 sprays. If you walk in the room and I smell you across the room, okay, kind of like what Chris Brown said, saw you from across the room. But if I smell you from across the room, you have too much cologne going on. Okay, don't do that. I want to breathe. Okay, yes, the cologne smells good. Okay, from 20 feet away. I don't want to get close to you. I can't breathe. Right now, I feel like I have to be like Mario. How do I breathe? Justin has a great cologne story from college. I need to hear this. Yo, I gotta ask Justin. Okay, turn around. What sparked my like? What's this cologne story? Give me something that I could ask Justin about. Like, yo, Yaku, if I hit up Justin, I'll be, yo, Justin, Yaku told me something about a cologne story. You mind telling me what this is about? Like, what's another information that I could give him so that he will remember? Or would that trigger enough for him to be like, oh, you know what? Let me tell you, Mitchell, this is what happened. And yeah, what is it? Same. I think, yeah, cool. Now you got their now that you got their attention, you just gotta pull away, right? You'd be like, nah, I ain't saying nothing. Matter of fact, I gotta go. I gotta go. Right? Ask him, has anyone ever used the same cologne as you? Keyword. Okay, let me take a screenshot. Wait, hold on. Let me take a screenshot. Okay, cool. And now I'll show him that keyword happy clinic clinic. Chris Brown. I saw you from across the room. I smell you from, yeah, anybody that smells, yeah, this, yeah, right, or yeah, I have my thoughts or opinions. Yeah, I usually keep it to myself. Happy, but that's for girls, Yaku. There's a guy. The girl scent. All right. What's everybody share your favorite cologne. What's the one cologne that you guys use? That is like, that's you to you. Like, you can switch it up. You can switch it up. But what is the one that your go-to? What is your go-to perfume, cologne? What is it? What is your favorite, thing that you like to spray on yourself? I like to switch it up. I think I used to, the first one I ever used was this one. Savage. Okay, I got that too. Got Savage. Got it. Johnny. Right? Right? Guilty is my favorite. I don't really use, I had this for a bit. I think 2 years, a little over 2 years, and barely. Is this a lot? I don't know. I like photo. Malone, okay, and also this is a newer one, right? Tom Ford. This is more of a night cologne, right? You out there, you having your dinner, right? It's dark, it's dim, right? She goes over to give you a hug. You smelling extra nice. She was like, I wonder how you smell like when you're laying down. Baby, I smell the same, but I mean, if you want to lay down, let's go. This is more. This is more. This is more like summer. It has a citrus smell. It's kind of bright, brightens up my day. So that's why I wear this. And every now and then, if I don't want to smell like Me and I want to change it up. I go with the Sauvage and Armani. Yeah, and this one is a really old one that I don't use anymore. You can see the dust, but this Armani white, I don't. Yeah, it did discontinue, and I don't even think it is even healthy for my skin to get in contact with this anymore. But it smells nice. Geo, yeah. So I have a lot, but nothing beats taking a shower and just smelling nice. All right, you can't cover up how bad you smell with Axe spray and cologne. Okay, you can't cover it up. Okay, let's see. I like Polo. Polo's nice. Yeah, you know the ingredient that makes expensive perfume comes from whale poop. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. What's high correct? The Armani whites smells good on men. Yeah, this one. This one. Yeah, this is very rare. You can't find this anywhere anymore. Yeah. I wish I could just spray it on here and you're like you can smell it, right? But yeah. Uh this is not a cover up to how bad you smell, okay? So some people literally don't take showers and they just use like no, that's not no. Tom Ford is one smell you like on men. Okay. Yeah, cool. The new Polo smells good. I don't know which one. There was also the Versace, but is it Versace blue or something? You know what hits differently is that Daisy, right? Marc Jacob. Is it Marc Jacob? That smells. It smells like a good time. It smells like a great time. Yeah, but yeah, it's getting this is like an aphrodisiac, you right? You get some perfume, some cologne, some nice perfume. You eat a whole bunch of oysters. And you have some alcohol, some liquid courage. You start saying things. You start exciting her a little bit. You're gonna have a great night. You're gonna have a great night. Marc Jacob, which date? I think it's the yellow one. It's the yellow one. It's the yellow one with the flower. Sunflower? I don't know. That hits different. That hits different. Um, what's high karate? You can start having a good night. Some oysters, you know what I mean? She don't like seafood, but you like it, right? You be like, "Yeah, I got it. I got it. I get." He was like, "Yo, I got at least 2 rounds, and I don't even need to eat anything else. I got at least 2 rounds. 2 rounds of what? You can find out. You can find out. Mine is from Europe. They have flowers. Yeah, it's the one with the flowers. It's like they're all kind of clear bottles. Um, yeah, but that one hits different. The yellow one is the original. Yeah, that yellow one. Yeah. No, my perfume. Your perfume is from Europe. Like you can't get it anywhere else. 2 rounds of champagne. Oh yeah, mimosas. Someone's like 10%, 10% orange juice, 90% champagne. I'm like, no, it's 50-50. It needs to be 50-50 because I like sweet things, right? Might have it in the States, but haven't looked. Okay. Just be careful what gets absorbed into your skin. Yeah, that's why I try to like just spray it on clothing. Um, I try not to use cologne that much if I don't have to, right? You can't cover up how you smell, so if you smell bad, right? So that's why I take a shower, right? Change your clothes, right? If you stink, yeah, take a shower. Burberry didn't like I don't know. I don't know if Gucci has more newer colognes. Oh, here's a tip. Here's a tip for people that likes to travel that that only carries with like their carry-on bags. And you can't bring cologne, right? You can't bring a big ass bottle of cologne on a plane. Mitchell's tip. Mitchell's tip. You could go to you could go to Sephora and you could just ask them for like a little sample, right? I usually just do that. I just be like, hey, can I get a sample? I tell them straight up. I'm like, yo, I'm traveling. I just want some cologne, and I just just enough so that I could just travel with. They're like, oh yeah, yeah, sure, no problem. And they start squirting it into that bottle, squeezing it in, and yeah, you have enough to travel for at least a few weeks onto that little sample. I only travel with samples. Yeah, exactly. And but if you don't have it and you do want it, I would suggest getting samples ready so when you do go travel, you start smelling sexy. It's an aphrodisiac, right? You don't need to walk out and get burritos no more. You could just be like, yeah, I got some oysters. We're gonna have a good time. We got 2 rounds of champagne. Yeah. It smells fresh, sexy, and delicious. Gucci Black. I never tried that one. I tried Gucci Guilty Intense, which is a more intense version of what I got. Yeah, but traveling with those samples, going to like a Sephora or whatever that gives you samples, those are good. Those are good. So I usually make I go by and be like, hey, I'm traveling soon. I would love so that, and usually they're cool about it. It's not that you're just trying to like just use them just to get a sample. I tell them straight, will you be able to give me a sample? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm using that to travel. I can't bring my. I almost got my bottle confiscated once because I accidentally put it into my carry-on and not into my the one that I checked in. So that was my mistake. And luckily they didn't catch that, but still it would have sucked because I would have been down like what, $90. Chanel Blue. Two smells good. Me none of the above. Yeah. Only try. Men with good cologne is sexy. Like, don't get me started. Imagine BTS were your favorite smell, right? Imagine that. or whoever you're into. J Park, Taeyang, Big Bang, right? Invict. I heard of Invictus. I have to check that up. But yeah, good smell, really important. Good attitude in life. Good food, oysters. Maybe not a burrito. Having a good time, right? You get 2 rounds. You get 2 rounds. If not, you might not get a single one. So, Jackson Wang. Okay, there you go. Yeah. I think wasn't he in like Coachella or something? Didn't he perform? I don't know. I don't go to those type of events. I don't experience those. Yeah. Well, only spending money on my guy. Ooh, what? Whoever he may be. Well, I hope you find the right one, Annie. What's caught? He was at caught. Yeah. I spent the last half an hour talking about cologne and like things. Things. Cartier. You know what I always wanted though? I think this is a good investment, at least for me in the future, is to get a Rolex. Just something that's very simple. I know green is a good color. I'm not a Rolex kind of guy. I'm not even a watch kind of guy, but I think one, it will retain value. It usually always goes up in value. Kim So Hooni. But yeah, I think a Rolex would be a nice little starter. And I would want to find a black face because it's something that's simple. Coachella, yeah. Cause like they built differently and most are sexy AF. I have a lot of samples of fragrance. You told me that story too, Mitchell. What story? Oh, the Rolex? I don't think I said anything about a Rolex. But yeah. Anyways, happiness must come from you first. Right? Right? Do things that makes you happy, but also pursue all that you want as well. Rolex is a good brand. I think it's a pretty nice brand. If I would have invested into a Rolex in my earlier years, I think it would have paid some good dividends. But I didn't. Oh well, I don't own one. Um, I'm also not a big watch guy. I don't like having that tan, you know. So, anyways, that is for today's show. Happiness must come from you first. Hopefully, no, I don't have a Fitbit neither. If anything, I may be an Apple Watch. I'm an Apple guy, so I like Apple. And to all your Android people, switch over to Apple. Um, it holds its value. Yeah, it does. It's kind of like Louis Vuitton too. Like LV doesn't really lose value. Kim So Hoon melts your heart just by looking at him. Yeah, yeah. Um, so everybody has a crush. Now everybody just imagine those crush was your favorite cologne, perfume, whatever it is. Um, with the your aphrodisiac. Also, I don't know what's an aphrodisiac type of food for vegans. Yeah, cool. Maybe you can answer that. What's an aphrodisiac food if you're vegan? Like, you know what I mean? Let me know. Wang abs melts your heart. Okay, now imagine him with your favorite cologne. It's okay, but Jackson Wang. Okay, to one of my favorite part of the night. That is all for today's show. Thank you guys for staying on. Apple does not suck. And we could learn a lot of things from Steve Jobs. Read his book, read more books, become a Pokemon master. If you guys like this video, please hit that like button. Share it to your friends. All the good stuff. But until pistachios are aphrodisiac, I learned something. I'm gonna eat a whole bunch of pistachios now, and I'm gonna let you know how that goes. And I'm gonna ask Justin about the cologne story. And I'm gonna end it here. But anyways, it was great talking to you guys. Always a pleasure. I'll see you on Tuesday. All right, next Tuesday. No, I'm tripping. Saturday. Mitchell. Just sign off. Just sign off. All right, peace.